Hello, sorry, YouTubers. Today is Saturday, March the 27th, or 28th actually, of 2026. That's today, the 28th? Yep, 28th. All right, so what was, like last week I was talking about some big changes going to happen or whatever, and it didn't happen. Um, I won't go into any details. Sorry, I had a swallow wrong. Uh, uh, So I won't go into any great details. So, but what I was told was going to happen, it didn't happen. So right now, so I'm just kind of in limbo. I don't know, whatever. So what I'm doing now is I got my solar panels down there. It's gonna be a nice sunny day. It's the weekend, so I got them down there. I got the 200 watt on this, so this is charging pretty decent. Way this is wired, the bottom battery in the box always gets first priority. And then any excess goes up to the top. I did find this charge controller on eBay for $58. I might buy it. It does have one extra vein on it. It's this charge controller that I put too many volts through. 45 is the max, and I put 60 or 70 through it. Now on the other charge controller, this one doesn't have any wires for the load, but the other ones do. So that'd be fine. And it's the same number as this here. Everything's the same. So that's on eBay. So what I'm doing, so again last night, so I have to start learning to live off a grid, even though I have power. So on my truck, I'm looking at a slip-in camper. They're pretty bad shape, $250, but I gotta have something. I need something, place to go in case something happens. Now, there's two ways for the camper to be held to the truck. The first way and the best way is to have some kind of a bracket system that is tied to the frame of the vehicle. And then the camper is tied to the bracket's tied to the frame. That's the best way. The other way that I have, the cheapest way, is that the bracket is actually, see that silver between the cap and the bed? That's the top of the bed. The bracket actually mounts to the bed itself. It goes to inside of the bed, and it has a piece that hangs over. And then that piece is held, and then so the camper is held to the bracket's held to the bed. That's not the best solution, but it's the best solution I have for now because I don't have the $500-600 it's going to take to do it the right way. And so I just got to be careful. It's not the right. It's secure, but you're putting all the focus of all the weight, all the shifting, on the bed and the bed bolts. So if your bed's rusted, if if the bed's not in great shape, because I don't know what that's in great shape or not, because it has a bed liner in it. So I don't know, but for now, as I have to start thinking about the future, and so I got that coming today. So I might show you a video on it, but I really don't know until I get one put on there. So what I'm doing now is I got to use the external charge controller to charge up my batteries, and so I done covered that. Then I unplugged the VEVOR. That's the orange cord. It's unplugged, and it's just really running the stuff in here right now. So I got 114 watts coming in. The load is 136, and I'm at 78% of the battery. So, yeah, so 14, 8, 184 watts is coming in. I only need 136. So you're looking at almost 50 watts that the inverter is using. Okay? And that's what the booklet says, about 50 watts, 60 watts that it uses, even at idle. So what I'm doing is I'm getting rid of my refrigerator. I got to start learning to live like I don't have grid power. I'm turning this cooler here into a refrigerator, and this cooler into a freezer. I had these ran the other day, Where I was running this the other day, had stuff in it, and it did pretty good. So what I'm doing is I'm running everything off a cigarette lighter. So this plugs into almost every cooler there is that's like this in cigarette lighter. I don't have this for this one. I do have the AC one for this. So what I'm doing now, what I'm going to do is I bought the cords. I bought two cords, two ones like this, and they're orange. And they're about 14 foot long, I want to say. So what I'm doing is I'm going to run everything off of the cigarette lighters. This here, this breakout box, I call it, the power box, is literally connected. I got a positive on the positive of one battery and a negative on the other battery. So this is going to be a 24 volt system, and the cooler, both these coolers are 1224 volt. I'm putting everything into the DC part of it because when the cooler is on, it's going to draw from the battery. It's going to literally bypass the inverter because we have waste here. And then when the coolers are off, it's just going to be off. So there's going to be no energy draw. Now if I plug this into the outlet, then you're going to see a low draw because it's using the inverter. So it's going to be drawing, both those together is about 60 watts. 65 together. But they're like a refrigerator, they shut off and on, off and on. So no matter what, the inverter is always using battery power or solar power. It's using some power from solar or battery, or if I'm on the grid, so it's always using that power. So if I go directly to the battery, I will bypass the inverter altogether. That's what I'm hoping for. So I won't have those cords until next week. And when I get the cords next week, then I'm going to turn all this into a freezer / cooler. I have to get used to living this way. So that's what I'm doing. This is still my heating and my tea setup. I use this every morning. And then let's make some tea. So that's what all this is for. Yep. So I'm used to using this. So I got to start using this. I got to set my solar panels out every day. And I want to try to use as less AC power as possible so that I'm not constantly using that inverter. Okay, so I got internet. So it's constantly on. So it's using 18 watts, but you have 50 watts to that. There you go. So I'm trying to get rid of as much as direct DC as possible. Now I did last night, started taking a shower with my instant water heater here. And used a 5-gallon bucket, put the water in. So as you can tell, it's like halfway. So I used it last night, and it was nice. I mean, it had a pretty good flow. The water was warm. I mean, it wasn't hot, like hot, but it was good enough to take a shower. It was just cold in there. So I mean, I was cold because of that. Because I'm used to taking a hot shower, and then you get yourself wet, and then you lather up, and then you rinse off, and you might stay in there for a few more minutes because your shoulders hurt or something. On that one, it's military style. You turn it on, you get wet, turn it off, you lather up, turn it on, you rinse off, and you're done. So that was a half 2.5 gallons of water. So wasn't too bad, and the water was nice. Now when you turn it off to wash yourself and turn it back on, it started off to be nice and hot, but then it kind of faded off to a warm. Then it got back to a hot. So there was a few seconds into it after turning it back on that it got it didn't get cold, but you can feel the temperature drop, but it's still warm. It came back up. So I got to learn to start doing that. The only thing I'm not going to start doing now or learning now is using a different kind of toilet. So I'm going to use that straight up for now. That's going to be last minute. Not get too personal, but I do have a bowel movement every day because I don't have a gallbladder. And so everything I eat goes right through me for the most part. So that's where I'm at. The news didn't go through. So I'm not going to get too much into that. I've made probably about 20 videos talking, and I just get on the subject, and I say too much. No one needs to know anything. Um, but what was going to happen didn't happen. So I just leave it as that. But I have to get prepared because at any time it could change. So I need to get used to living this way. So I am looking at some slip-in campers. They're pretty bad shape for 200. One's 250. I can pick one up for 100, but they're really bad shape. But only thing I need in a slip-in camper is a place to, I need a bed, I need a small shower, need a toilet, and I need a place to cook. That's it. And those three is all I need. My battery system is going to go with me, of course. This is going to be the main power that runs the stuff I need, and this is going to be what I need to run my cooking and my tea. Then maybe an air fryer for that system there. But I'm only bringing, I'll show you, I'm only bringing 400 watts on that main system. The main system, this is a 2 kilowatt hour battery. These are 212 volt Red Auto batteries, 100 amp hours a piece. So I got them in parallel, so they're 200 amp hours here. So I got two kilowatts roughly. That down there is the 25.6. These are both 100 amp hours a piece, and they are in parallel, so it's 200 amp hours. So that's 5 kilowatts of storage. And so for the 2 kilowatt storage and for what I use it for, that 200 watt panel is more than enough. Now for the main system, the 5 kilowatts, those are only 100 watt panels, and they're on 2 different frames. You sit down there, 2 different frames, and I finally figured out how to fix these frames where they come up and down real easy. So. So for my main system, I need at least 1,000 watts coming in, 1,500, 2,000 would be perfect for what I'm using. But I just don't have those panels. And right now I don't have the space. So he's turning that, see that there's a little door down there. He's building the room inside there. That door is just closed off, but he's going to reopen that door, and inside there he's going to build a little room for a washer and dryer, so everybody who lives here can go down there and do laundry. So in the future, that panel there is going to be sitting down over here somewhere, down where that trash can is. Got to have room for people to get in and out. And yeah, so gotta have room for that. So that's plenty of room for the getting in and out. I won't have my security rope around that. It'd be down here and probably down around that one down there. These panels gotta stay pretty much where they're at. They're a little bit farther in that way because when the sun starts to go down, when the sun gets up in that area there, this starts to cast a shadow down in here. And so this area here is pretty much shaded pretty quickly. But we still got plenty of shade, plenty of sun down that way. That down there does not get affected by this building right here. So that's what I'm doing right now. So there's the store. And I'm going I'm going here at noon and pick up off of Facebook of a marketplace a portable washer and dryer, one of those little ones you buy for $150. You wash your laundry and you just spin dry it and hang up your clothes. Well, I'm picking one up for $70, so pretty cheap. I'm taking the EB3A with me. I'm gonna plug it in, make sure it all works. But that's where I'm at right now. That's what's going on. I gotta start living like I don't have power. So there are some things I just can't get off the grid right now. I am really limited to storage. I mean, I'm solar coming in, so what I gotta start doing is getting used to when my batteries get low and I can't get no sun coming in. I gotta start using my generator to charge up my batteries. And all you do is fire up the generator, plug in the VEVOR into the generator, and there you go. On the VEVOR itself, you got to go into the settings. It's setting 3. Go into there and change it to a generator mode, and then it will charge up the batteries from the generator. That's about it. That's all I got for you today. This is a 10 amp charge, 20 amp. It might be a 20 amp charge controller. Yeah, that's what is that? Hold on. Yeah, that's a 20 amp charge controller. That's what I got there, Efrat. 24, 20 amp. So that's a 20 amp charge controller. So we're bringing 149 watts in. So that's enough to run the load, but you have to add in the consumption of the inverter. So therefore, we're minus 37. So it's about 40, let's see, there's 8 watts there. Yep, about 50 watts, roughly 50 watts that inverter's using. So I'm trying to eliminate that 50 watts. And in the future, I'm trying to go to everything being DC. Trying to get rid of the inverter usage. But that's going to happen years down the road. So, all right, so everything's running good. So, going to pick up that portable washer and dryer today. And they're small ones. It does like 10 shirts, a couple of pairs of pants, maybe a jacket or 2 or something like that. And uses very little water. But it is something that you're going to have to use when you are in a camper situation like that, where I can, I got access to water. I got unlimited access to water. I got a lot of customers. If I want to, I can just fill up a 5-gallon bucket and go from there. So water for me is not really a scarcity like it is for some people, for RVers. Because most of my customers do have an outside spigot or they have a mop sink. I can go in and say, hey man, I need to get some water, and they won't say nothing. So water right now is not a bad thing. So all right guys, well, you have a good day. And when these cords come in, I want both of them. When the cords come in, I'm gonna start converting these over to like I'm gonna use everyday usage. I just want to see where I'm going. And the only load is going to be on the inverter itself, is my computer system here. And then of course, when I go out in the camper, I won't have the other 2 monitors. I won't have that monitor. I won't have that monitor. I probably won't have the speakers either. That'd be because that has I don't know. But that's what I got going on. That's a mess down there. I was trying to straighten out my box. So that's what's going on. So from this point on, it'll be living like I'm off grid, but I'm really not. So guys, have a good day.